Have you ever felt that inexplicable chill? A sudden, unexplainable unease, crawling silently up your spine when someone approaches? You can't see it, but your soul feels it, a subtle whisper. A warning signal from deep within. It's like a spiritual compass guiding you away from an unseen danger. Something your eyes can't perceive but your heart knows is real. You might dismiss it as imagination, yet that lingering unease remains, urging caution. Today, I invite you into the sacred halls of San Giovanni Rotondo, a place shrouded in holy mysteries, where fragrances of incense intertwine gently with the miraculous scent of roses that bloom without explanation, leaving believers in awe and wonder. Within these sacred halls walked Saint Padre Pio of Pietrelcina, a humble Capuchin friar chosen by God himself. He bore upon his body the very wounds of Christ, stigmata that marked him as divinely favored. But beyond his extraordinary physical signs lay an even deeper gift, a profound and mysterious wisdom that he imparted lovingly to those who sought his guidance. Imagine now, his serene voice softly whispering, yet piercing straight through your very soul with eyes filled with divine insight, saying gently but firmly, "My children, God has granted you the precious gift of discernment, an invaluable shield during these spiritually confusing times." As his words reached his followers, they felt their hearts ignite, their spirits strengthened against the unseen shadows that plague our world. It's as if his wisdom carried a divine vibration, resonating deeply, illuminating their darkest hours like sacred pearls, a source of divine comfort in the storms of spiritual uncertainty. But perhaps you're wondering, why are you hearing this now? At this precise moment? You see, there are no accidents in the spiritual world. Divine providence led you here, right now, for a very special reason. Because today, dear friend, through the grace and powerful intercession of Padre Pio, you will uncover the sacred signs he taught his spiritual children, 9 divine signals to recognize and protect yourself against spiritual dangers. These signs act as beacons in the night, illuminating your path, safeguarding your soul from those who, disguised as wolves in sheep's clothing, seek only to disturb your inner peace. Padre Pio's extraordinary discernment allowed him to pierce through masks and facades that deceive others. His eyes, blessed by the Holy Spirit, could see behind smiles filled with sweet deceit, sensing the hidden shadows that most of us fail to recognize. Have you ever experienced this inexplicable discomfort? Has your soul ever shivered inexplicably when encountering someone who, on the surface, appears perfectly pleasant? Maybe it's someone whose eyes you avoid instinctively or whose presence feels subtly oppressive. Yet you can't logically explain why. If your heart resonates with this experience, you are not here by chance. You've been divinely led to this moment of revelation, a moment that might just save your spiritual well-being. Before we move any further into this powerful revelation, take a brief second to affirm your connection with this truth. Hit the like button to activate this message in your life. Subscribe now to receive future divine revelations that could profoundly transform your path. And write in the comments, Padre Pio, protect and guide my steps. Let your faith become visible today. Because in the realm of the Spirit, every action holds profound significance. The first sign Padre Pio revealed is the penetrating gaze. It's said that the eyes are the windows of the soul. And in spiritual discernment, this couldn't be truer. Padre Pio taught that some eyes reveal not just intentions, but the hidden spiritual battles raging within. This particular gaze, which he identified, is uniquely invasive, almost predatory. It doesn't merely look at you, it feels like it's looking through you, past your defenses, directly into the core of your being. It's a gaze cold enough to freeze your soul, empty of divine warmth, and void of genuine compassion or godly love. Those who carry this sign often fix their stare on others in prolonged, uncomfortable ways, attempting to break down spiritual defenses without uttering a single word. Their gaze leaves the receiver feeling exposed, vulnerable, and spiritually drained. The Book of Proverbs reminds us clearly, a worthless person, a wicked man, walks with a perverse mouth, he winks maliciously. His gestures signal evil intentions. Reflect on this. Have you ever felt defenseless? As though someone was peering deep inside you, pulling away your spiritual comfort without physical contact or apparent reason? It's as if they silently steal your peace, one glance at a time. Recognizing this gaze isn't merely about avoiding discomfort, it's about spiritual survival. It's about protecting the divine spark within you, ensuring your inner sanctuary remains safe from intrusion. Padre Pio didn't share these insights lightly. He understood deeply the subtlety of spiritual warfare. The enemy rarely comes announcing his intentions openly. He prefers subtlety, quiet infiltration, and silent erosion of faith. The penetrating gaze isn't just a superficial glance, it's a direct challenge to your spiritual integrity. Attempting to leave your spirit defenseless and vulnerable to negative energies. It seeks openings, cracks within your spiritual armor, allowing darkness to seep through. But do not fear, for Padre Pio taught that awareness alone is already half the battle won. Once recognized, this gaze loses much of its power. The key to safeguarding yourself is vigilance coupled with prayer, the strongest armor a believer possesses. Remember Padre Pio's own words. Prayer is the best weapon we have, the key that opens the heart of God. Armed with prayer, you not only shield yourself but also strengthen your discernment, sharpening your ability to see beyond facades, protecting your soul from spiritual harm. Yet, this is just the beginning. 8 more sacred signs remain hidden, waiting to be unveiled, each more potent, more profound, more revealing than the last. Among them lies the 9th and most powerful sign, capable of transforming your spiritual life entirely, providing answers to prayers you've long awaited. Prepare your heart, for this divine revelation could forever change how you perceive the spiritual world around you. It could be the difference between spiritual turmoil and eternal peace, between vulnerability and unshakable strength. You have not arrived at this moment by chance. Destiny itself has guided your steps. The next sign, about to be revealed, may be precisely the spiritual shield you've unknowingly sought your whole life. Continue watching until the very end, because your spirit already knows, this revelation is for you. Continuing from the penetrating gaze, Padre Pio revealed a second subtle but devastating sign, the language of manipulation. Words carry immense power, enough to build up or tear down, heal or harm. Padre Pio warned his spiritual children that some people masterfully use words as tools of deception, disguising their true intentions behind carefully crafted phrases. At first glance, their words seem reasonable, gentle, even kind, but hidden beneath this veil of sweetness is a subtle venom, a poison designed specifically to plant seeds of doubt, confusion, and fear deep within your soul. Such people have perfected the dark art of manipulation, twisting truth just enough to unsettle your faith, leading you slowly, imperceptibly, away from the path of spiritual clarity. Their deception rarely comes as obvious lies. Instead, they employ half-truths, statements wrapped in layers of sincerity but tainted by an underlying darkness. Padre Pio emphasized the immense power words hold over our spiritual lives. He warned that words, when weaponized, become instruments of spiritual harm, leading souls away from the comfort and clarity provided by God's wisdom. The Apostle James reminds us starkly, "But no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison." Those who master this dark skill exploit subtle yet insidious techniques, like spiritual gaslighting, gradually causing victims to doubt their own perceptions, spiritual experiences, and even their intimate relationship with the divine. Before you realize it, their manipulation can cause you to question the very truths that once anchored your faith. Padre Pio cautioned that such spiritual manipulators thrive by distorting conversations, confusing truths, and gradually steering the unsuspecting toward uncertainty and spiritual turmoil. They may use gentle suggestions, clever arguments, or even theological debates that sound logical yet conceal hidden intentions of manipulation. Their ultimate aim? To isolate you from the divine source, to create distance between you and God, and to shake your spiritual foundations until doubt replaces faith. Recognizing this subtle sign is essential, not just for mental clarity, but for the safety of your immortal soul. The third sign Padre Pio warned us about is the disturbing presence. This isn't about words or actions, but something even more intangible yet undeniably real: the mere spiritual atmosphere certain individuals carry with them. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt a heaviness? A dense energy that seems to suffocate your soul? This feeling might be accompanied by inexplicable discomfort, sudden unease, or even physical symptoms like chills, nausea, or headaches. The Book of Job vividly captures this sensation, stating, "Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair on my body stood up." Padre Pio taught that spiritually sensitive souls can easily sense this type of presence. Even nature itself reacts visibly. Plants may wilt inexplicably. Animals may become restless or fearful. And blessed objects might respond in unusual ways. Prayer, usually comforting and easy, may suddenly feel difficult or blocked in the presence of such a person. These subtle but alarming phenomena are not mere coincidences. They indicate an unseen spiritual battle raging silently around us. The heaviness you feel is a warning from your spirit. It's sensing negative influences that your conscious mind cannot yet understand. Padre Pio emphasized recognizing this disturbance and responding through prayer, vigilance, and trust in divine protection. Yet, the signs go even deeper, each one building upon the last, each unveiling greater truths about the hidden spiritual threats in our lives. Padre Pio's fourth sign involves the dangerous strategy of progressive isolation. This tactic is subtle, calculated, and cunning, carefully designed to weaken your spiritual defenses by slowly isolating you from the community of faith, family, and friends. Manipulators skilled in this technique sow doubts about your loved ones, quietly undermine your trust in spiritual leaders, and systematically foster mistrust until they position themselves as your sole confidant. It's akin to a spider weaving its web slowly around its prey, tightening its grip until the victim finds themselves alone, confused, and vulnerable. This progressive isolation rarely happens quickly. It starts subtly, perhaps by planting seeds of doubt about the intentions of your closest friends or spiritual advisors. Over time, this suspicion grows, and soon you find yourself feeling misunderstood, believing that no one else truly understands or supports you except the manipulator. The first letter of Peter vividly warns about this very danger: be sober. Be vigilant, because your adversary the devil walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Padre Pio understood deeply that spiritual predators isolate their prey intentionally because a sheep separated from its flock is vulnerable to the attacks of wolves. By recognizing this strategy early, you can reinforce your spiritual boundaries, protecting your connection with God and the community that nourishes your soul. The fifth sign Padre Pio identified is a clear reaction against the sacred, an aversion that goes beyond mere disinterest in spiritual matters. Individuals exhibiting this sign show noticeable discomfort or even hostility when confronted with sacred symbols, places, or practices. It might be a subtle unease in front of a crucifix, avoidance of holy water, or reluctance to enter a consecrated place like a church or chapel. John's Gospel explains why clearly: "Everyone who does evil hates the light and does not come into the light lest his deeds be exposed." This aversion might manifest subtly at first, through excuses to avoid prayer, discomfort during worship, or unexplained irritability in the presence of religious items or discussions. Padre Pio taught that such reactions aren't merely psychological, they're spiritual in nature, revealing a hidden resistance to God's divine light. It's a spiritual instinct to hide in the darkness, because the presence of the sacred exposes the truths the enemy desperately wants to keep hidden. At this critical point, you must understand one profound truth. Recognizing these signs is more than spiritual discernment. It's an act of reclaiming your spiritual power, ensuring your soul remains safely anchored in God's grace. Padre Pio's wisdom isn't meant to cause fear, but rather to strengthen your heart with divine understanding and courage. Before you continue deeper into this sacred knowledge, pause briefly, reflect deeply upon the insights Padre Pio has shared so far. Consider your own experiences. Are there moments when you felt these subtle warnings within your soul? Trust that divine guidance has brought you here for a reason. Now, dear soul, prepare yourself, for the next signs you will learn may uncover truths that will not only transform your life but will empower you spiritually to protect yourself and those you love. The spiritual world is invisible yet powerful, and recognizing these signs is the first step toward claiming the peace, strength, and spiritual safety God intends for you. Stay attentive, stay vigilant, because what follows could be the revelation you've long awaited, the very knowledge your heart has silently begged for in your deepest prayers. The sixth sacred sign Padre Pio shared is perhaps one of the most subtle, yet profoundly disturbing: contradictory behavior. This goes far beyond ordinary mood swings or temporary changes in emotion. It reveals a deeper, hidden spiritual conflict within. You might know someone who at first appears compassionate, kind-hearted, even saintly, yet suddenly, without warning, their demeanor shifts dramatically, revealing cruelty, coldness, or unexpected hostility. It's as if two completely different beings reside within a single person, struggling fiercely against one another, causing confusion and emotional turmoil for everyone around them. Padre Pio cautioned us that inconsistency in behavior is not simply a personality quirk but often an indicator of deep spiritual disarray. Those who exhibit this trait can seem generous and loving one moment, yet become manipulative or emotionally harmful the next. Their promises are rarely reliable, their actions unpredictable, and their words frequently contradict previous statements or assurances. This instability creates confusion, doubt, and anxiety for those who trust or depend upon them. As stated plainly in the book of James, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Padre Pio explained that this instability comes from a disconnect between the persona someone presents to the world and their true spiritual condition. Their outward actions might appear virtuous, yet behind closed doors or in moments of stress, their true nature, often troubled by darker influences, surfaces dramatically. It's this contradiction between appearance and reality, between word and deed, that reveals the depth of spiritual warfare occurring within their soul. Recognizing this sign isn't about judging others harshly, rather, it's about protecting your own heart and spirit from unnecessary harm and emotional confusion. The seventh sign Padre Pio described as both subtle and deeply draining: spiritual vampirism. Perhaps you've felt this before without understanding why: a sudden, inexplicable exhaustion after spending time with certain individuals. It's more than physical tiredness, it's a profound, lingering fatigue that leaves your soul depleted, empty, and restless. Padre Pio understood this phenomenon as a subtle yet powerful form of spiritual attack, one that saps your spiritual energy, leaving you vulnerable and weakened, long after the interaction has ended. This phenomenon aligns closely with a profound example from the Gospel of Mark, where Jesus felt power leave him when someone touched his garment. Similarly, spiritual vampirism involves a draining of your life force and spiritual strength. Empathetic and spiritually sensitive people are especially vulnerable, often feeling drained or deeply affected even after brief interactions. These individuals don't necessarily behave maliciously, rather, their spiritual condition unconsciously seeks nourishment from the vibrant spiritual energies of others, especially those who are grounded deeply in faith. Padre Pio taught that recognizing this type of spiritual depletion is essential. Your energy, vitality, and spiritual strength must be guarded vigilantly. Frequent prayer, meditation, and time spent strengthening your relationship with God become indispensable protective practices. The best defense against spiritual vampirism, Padre Pio advised, is awareness combined with continual spiritual renewal, regularly replenishing your soul through divine communion and moments of solitude with God. The eighth sign Padre Pio revealed hides deceptively behind one of the most innocent and common expressions: a smile. Yet, he warned, not all smiles radiate from a genuine heart. There are smiles meticulously crafted, perfectly executed, yet profoundly empty. These smiles might appear warm and comforting at first glance, but upon closer inspection, you'll find something missing: an absence of true spiritual joy. Padre Pio described these smiles as masks, calculated facades designed solely to earn trust, hide darker motives, or manipulate emotions. Psalm chapter 55 captures this chilling reality. His words were smoother than butter, yet war was in his heart. The deceptive smile Padre Pio described emerges quickly, almost mechanically, disappearing just as swiftly once the manipulator's goal is achieved or attention diverted. You might notice these smiles appear oddly timed, like when hearing bad news about others or while subtly undermining someone's reputation. True joy radiates naturally, effortlessly from the soul, illuminating the face and matching perfectly with body language and emotional tone. False smiles, however, feel forced, artificial, disconnected from the deeper emotions supposedly being expressed. Padre Pio taught his spiritual children to become deeply sensitive to these subtle signs, to look beyond surface expressions, and trust the deeper intuition given by God. In recognizing such falsehoods, you protect yourself spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically from those whose hidden intentions seek your harm or discomfort. Finally, we reach the ninth and most powerful sign Padre Pio shared: spiritual intuition, an extraordinary gift. A divine inner voice planted by God Himself into the hearts of each of us. It's this spiritual intuition, this divine compass, that can sense danger before it ever becomes visible. It often manifests as an inexplicable feeling, an inner knowing that something isn't quite right. A warning whisper guiding your actions, or an uneasy awareness urging caution. Padre Pio emphasized the extraordinary importance of trusting this intuition, even when logic fails to support its warnings. Beloved, the Apostle John reminds us, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. Spiritual intuition isn't mere instinct or guesswork. It's a profound connection to divine wisdom. An echo of God's voice guiding your soul toward truth and safety. Padre Pio himself relied deeply upon this intuition, which enabled him to distinguish clearly between genuine souls and deceptive spirits hiding beneath charming facades. He advised continual cultivation of this divine gift through regular prayer, disciplined spiritual reflection, and close communion with God. Trusting your spiritual intuition can be life-changing. It offers clarity amid confusion, guidance when uncertainty prevails, and a safeguard against hidden spiritual threats. When you feel uneasy without clear cause, when your heart warns you against trusting blindly, pay careful attention. God may be speaking directly into your spirit, protecting you from unseen harm. Padre Pio's 9 signs represent more than spiritual warnings, they're powerful tools, gifted to you by divine grace, to ensure your spiritual well-being. As you deepen your understanding of these signs, you strengthen your soul, protect your peace, and empower your spirit against any hidden threats. Padre Pio's teachings aren't meant to frighten, but to fortify, to grant clarity, hope, and confidence as you navigate a spiritually complex world. Now, as you continue reflecting on these revelations, ask yourself sincerely, have you noticed these subtle yet powerful signs in your life? Consider deeply how these insights can transform your interactions, your relationships, and your spiritual journey. Take these teachings not as mere warnings, but as precious gifts, divine wisdom offered to guide you safely through life's hidden dangers. Securing your soul within the protective embrace of God's eternal love. Take a moment today, right now, to commit to strengthening your spiritual awareness. Seek the divine protection granted freely to those who ask. Your soul is priceless, it deserves vigilant care, attention, and devotion. Reflecting deeply on these profound revelations from Saint Padre Pio, we realize that spiritual discernment is not just a valuable skill, it is a divine necessity in our lives. We have journeyed together through the sacred halls of spiritual understanding, guided by a humble Capuchin friar who bore the very wounds of Christ upon his body, and whose eyes were illuminated with the extraordinary light of the Holy Spirit. Each of the 9 signs revealed to us, ranging from the chilling, penetrating gaze, through subtle manipulations, to the extraordinary intuition planted within us by God Himself, stands as a vital tool for spiritual navigation in a world riddled with unseen dangers. It is essential to remember that these teachings are not intended to provoke fear. Padre Pio never sought to frighten, but rather to awaken, to empower souls by illuminating paths once obscured by darkness and confusion. His guidance is rooted deeply in compassion, intended to equip each of us with the spiritual armor required to discern hidden threats. Every sign Padre Pio taught is like a gentle flame lighting our path, giving clarity and confidence to move forward courageously, despite the darkness that seeks to engulf us. Yet, discernment is only effective when put into practice daily. Padre Pio emphasized tirelessly the need for constant vigilance, prayerful awareness, and active faith. He encouraged his spiritual children to remain deeply connected to God through regular prayer, meditation, and sincere self-examination. Frequent access to the sacraments, especially confession and the Eucharist, provides divine nourishment, reinforcing our inner strength against spiritual harm. The protective use of blessed sacramentals, like holy water or the scapular, offers additional defense, anchoring our souls in spiritual safety. Above all, Padre Pio passionately advocated for daily devotion to the Holy Rosary and invoking the powerful protection of Saint Michael the Archangel. He often reminded us of Psalm chapter 91, assuring us that he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. These divine practices form a spiritual fortress around us, ensuring that we remain steadfast and protected, even amidst the most cunning spiritual attacks. Padre Pio's teachings serve as sacred reminders of the power we hold when we align ourselves firmly with divine wisdom. Understanding and internalizing Padre Pio's signs allows us to recognize spiritual dangers before they manifest visibly, offering us an invaluable spiritual shield. The penetrating gaze, the subtle manipulation of language, the unsettling presence, isolation tactics, aversion to the sacred, contradictory behavior, spiritual vampirism, false smiles, and spiritual intuition. Each sign functions as a beacon, illuminating threats so subtly concealed that only the spiritually vigilant can detect them. Yet perhaps the most transformative truth Padre Pio offers is the recognition of our own intuitive strength. Each of us has been gifted by God with a divine internal compass, an inner spiritual voice guiding us away from harm. Padre Pio insisted we must never dismiss this internal guidance, for it is God speaking directly to our hearts. This divine intuition surpasses logic, intellect, or reason. It is the whisper of God Himself within our souls, urging caution, discernment, and protection from hidden evils. Padre Pio's life was itself an embodiment of unwavering faith and vigilant discernment. Bearing the wounds of Christ, he endured immense physical pain but remained spiritually unshakable. He saw clearly into the souls of those who approached him, sensing hidden intentions, guiding countless faithful away from spiritual harm toward the safety of God's loving embrace. His wisdom, grounded firmly in the scriptures and nourished by constant communion with the divine, was his greatest weapon and most enduring legacy. This message today is not mere coincidence. Divine providence brought it to your awareness for a profound purpose. Perhaps you have sensed these signs but dismissed them as mere imagination or paranoia. Perhaps you doubted your intuition, burying your unease under layers of logic and reason. Yet today, through the sacred wisdom of Padre Pio, you have been affirmed and validated. Your intuition is indeed a divine gift, your unease justified, your caution spiritually necessary. Recognizing the power you now hold, how will you act upon these revelations? How will you integrate this sacred knowledge into your daily life, allowing it to guide your relationships, your choices, and your spiritual practices? Imagine your life free from hidden dangers, your spirit protected by divine discernment, your path illuminated by Padre Pio's timeless wisdom. Picture the spiritual peace, strength, and clarity that await you when you fully embrace and apply these teachings. As you internalize these sacred truths, remember Padre Pio's comforting advice: pray, hope, and don't worry. Worry is useless. God is merciful and hears your prayers. His teachings remind us that although dark forces may attempt to disturb our peace, they are powerless before the strength of an awakened soul aligned with divine guidance. Fear has no place in the heart filled with faith, for God's infinite mercy and protection far exceed any threat posed by darkness. Padre Pio's legacy is not merely his miraculous signs or profound teachings. It is the ongoing transformation that occurs when his wisdom is lived out authentically and courageously. Today, you are invited into this sacred legacy, not as passive listeners but as active participants. Padre Pio is offering you the keys to spiritual freedom, clarity, and divine protection. He is equipping you with profound tools for spiritual resilience, guiding you lovingly towards eternal peace. Dear friend, now is the time for action. If you resonate deeply with Padre Pio's teachings, if your soul has been touched and awakened by these sacred revelations, take action immediately. Comment below, boldly affirming your faith by writing, "Padre Pio, intercede for me and protect my spirit." Like this message to reinforce your spiritual strength. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another divine revelation. And share this powerful message with 3 souls whom you feel deeply need this sacred shield of spiritual discernment. By taking this simple yet powerful action, you become part of a greater spiritual awakening, contributing to a wave of divine protection and transformation spreading across our community and beyond. Your voice, your faith, and your willingness to act may become the beacon of hope another soul desperately needs at this very moment. Remember always, you are never alone on your spiritual journey. Padre Pio's intercession, God's endless grace, and the loving embrace of the spiritual community stand with you, shielding you from all hidden harm. Today, you have been equipped with divine armor. Wear it boldly, courageously, and faithfully. Step confidently into your renewed spiritual strength. Knowing Padre Pio is guiding your path, protecting your heart, and illuminating your way through every shadow, until you reach eternal peace in God's divine presence.